Saul Canelo Alvarez wins a 12-round unanimous decision over Miguel Cotto to become the new WBC middleweight world champion. Now, I did pick Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, but I have to say, I felt that the judges' scorecards were way off. I had the fight much closer than the judges had it. And if the fight had ended up in a draw, or if Cotto had won by a round, I wouldn't have complained. Personally, and I'm going to give you my honest scorecard, I actually had this fight, I actually had Canelo winning this fight by only 1 round. That's how I had it. And I was thinking he needed the last couple rounds. I had him behind going into the last 2 rounds. So I felt like he needed to win both of those rounds to actually win the fight. And I did give him those rounds. So I feel like the judges' scorecards were way off. I think it was a much closer fight than they had it. And obviously Miguel Cotto agreed with that because he left the ring. I mean, he's done this a few times, but he left the ring without even giving an interview. He was obviously disgusted with the judges' decision and the wideness of the scorecards. Let me know how you scored it. Again, this is no bias against Canelo because I picked Canelo to win. But I do feel that the fight was a lot closer than the judges had it. And if Cotto had won it on the judges' scorecards, I wouldn't have complained. I really felt it was that close. Miguel Cotto, he employed the tactics which I expected, which was a lot of sticking and moving. And me personally, I had him ahead most of the way through the fight. I felt like the sticking and moving tactics was doing, he was quite effective from him. Canelo, he was not really keeping up the same work rate as Miguel Cotto, but the punches he was landing were definitely more solid. No question about it. He was the heavier handed fighter and he was conserving his energy. And the way he paced himself throughout the fight, he ended up being a stronger fighter towards the end. Okay, there was no knockdowns in the fight. No one was ever seriously hurt. But I felt like Miguel Cotto was stunned a few times. Now, Alvarez was doing what he normally does in most of his fights, okay, picking his shots very effectively, and he wasn't really pressuring Miguel Cotto the way that you would really want to see him. I know he's never been a great pressure fighter, Canelo Alvarez, but you really would want him to see him cut the ring off more on Cotto, make it more uncomfortable for him. He wasn't doing that, but he was landing his customary left hooks up top, left hooks to the body, his very stiff ramrod jab, his right cross. But the punch for me, which I was most impressed with Canelo Alvarez in this fight, was his right uppercut. Whenever they would come into exchange, Canelo would be landing this beautiful short little right uppercut. And that's obviously a punch he'd worked on specifically for this fight because he knew that Miguel Cotto comes in with his head down. Miguel Cotto tends to fight out of a crouch a lot of the time. When he comes in and they get ready to exchange, Canelo was either countering with the right uppercut or beating him to the punch with the right uppercut. So I was impressed with that punch in this particular fight. But as I say, I personally felt that Cotto was ahead early on in the fight, and as the rounds wore on, I think Canelo's extra strength and his size and his extra power in his punches started to take its toll on Miguel Cotto. I think the body shots as well, Canelo was landing some wicked body shots, and I think they also took their toll on Miguel Cotto. Through the first half of the fight, maybe 6-7 rounds, Cotto's movement was effective, sticking and moving effectively, not running. But the longer the fight went, the more Cotto actually started to run. And the last few rounds, he was on his bike. He really wasn't trying to engage at all. He was just trying to throw a couple of shots and then get the hell out of there. So, yeah, I feel like it was a close fight. Can't argue with a 1-point margin either way for either Cotto or Canelo or even a draw. But a unanimous decision, the way that they had it on all the judges' scorecards, nah, I don't agree with that. I really felt the fight was a hell of a lot closer than that. And I think that the judges did Miguel Cotto a disservice. And also HBO, they had it for Canelo by a fairly wide margin as well. Harold Lederman. I disagree with them as well. I don't know if that's a political decision or whatever it is. I don't know. You let me know what you think about that. Do you think it was fair scoring by the judges and HBO? Or do you think there was some politics there? Or do you just think they were influencing each other? Sometimes when there's a commentary team, there's a lead commentator or an unofficial judge, and he can influence the other commentators or whoever just by giving his score every few rounds. He can make people second guess, like thinking, well, did that guy actually win that round? because Harold had it a completely different way to me. I don't know. I'm not saying that that is the case. I want you to answer that question in the comment section below. How did you score this fight? Who do you think won this fight? Do you think this decision by the judges was fair? Drop your comments in the comment section below. And also let me know what you think about both fighters going forward. Where does Cotto go from here? Where does Canelo go from here? Canelo in a post-fight interview was talking about Golovkin, all right? There's also the possibility of, there's a few guys at 154. Some people have talked about a Mayweather rematch. Maybe Mayweather will try and come back and fight Canelo at middleweight. We'll see how it goes. Drop your comments in the comment section below and let's get a discussion going. And I'd like to really know what you guys think about this fight, the scoring, where you see both fighters going forward. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.